Mr. Mark Chay.
Dear Mr. Speaker, like many members of Parliament, I am deeply troubled by the conflict in Ukraine. I echo Minister Vivian Balakrishna's sentiments that Singapore cannot accept the unjustified attack by one country of another. This was a clear violation of the Olympic truth. Mr. Speaker, I was on calls last night with the first, the Ukrainian Esports Federation, and the second, the IOC Athletes Commission. Hearing the Ukrainian athletes and what Ukraine is going through is truly heartbreaking. The sporting world is aligned with the minister's position that the sovereignty, political independence, and territorial integrity of countries, big and small, must be respected. Sports will continue to stand for values. Sports will continue to stand for peace. My thoughts and prayers are with the citizens of Ukraine today. I now turn to speak on the budget. I rise in support of this today, and I consider that the budget is a sensible one that balances the long and short-term needs of the country. It also focuses on the national development and in a sustainable manner that addresses the challenges posed by climate change. As many of you know, yesterday was Founders' Day, and our motto goes, "The best is yet to be." So today, in keeping with this motto, I raise 3 issues which I believe can bring our society to new heights. 1, how do we as a society manage the rising cost of living? 2, how do we ensure a safe and sensible reopening of Singapore? And 3, as we look forward into the future, how do we create a better and more conducive space for the development of the sports in Singapore? I speak first about managing the rising cost of Singapore. This is a concern which many honourable members and colleagues have raised. In particular, the effects of rising costs felt primarily with the sandwich class and youth in Singapore today. On the GST hike, what is welcomed is the implementation of GST in stages which enable Singaporeans to plan and make provisions for the increase. I'm comforted that the government has considered cushioning measures to lessen the impact of GST increase and fully support the top-up of 640 million to the assurance package. I also note that low-wage workers and seniors are considered with cash payouts to seniors as well as the raising of income threshold of the GST voucher scheme. Although the cushioning measures are generous, the rising cost of living is a concern, and I raise 3 issues in this regard. First, GST is expected to rise to 9% by 2024, and there is also going to be an increase in carbon tax. Given additionally that the rising tensions in Europe are expected to bring an increase in energy prices, I'm concerned daily living expenses will increase significantly. Second, on manpower. I'm also concerned about the adjustments to the foreign work policies, in particular the rise in minimum qualifying salaries for S-Pass holders and the impact of these adjustments on the hospitality, F&B and construction industries. Would such measures increase the cost of labour, which would ultimately be borne by the end consumer? The cost of living in Singapore will also impact Singapore's competitiveness in being able to attract talent from overseas. We need to keep a close eye on this. Finally, investing in our people is the right step forward. I wholeheartedly support a review of the programming at IHLs to not only provide quality continuing education and training, but also to prepare Singaporeans with skills to take up job opportunities in the market. But we must not forget our seniors and persons with disabilities in this endeavour. How would we enable PWDs to access job opportunities? Is there more that we can do in this endeavour? I believe addressing these concerns will not only lay the foundation for the successful implementation of these measures, but also create a livable and affordable Singapore. I now move to talk about my second point, ensuring a safe and sensible reopening of Singapore. As Singapore takes a positive posture to reopening and leans on the possibilities of a COVID-19 endemic world, I would like to take a moment to thank our frontliners and immigration officers for their hard work and dedication over the past 2 years in ensuring the health and safety of Singaporeans and its visitors. Our airports, seaports, and causeways are the first and last experience Singaporeans and tourists have of Singapore. I would like to suggest resources be allocated to the ports of entry to ensure safe, reliable, and efficient transit of Singaporeans and visitors, thus maintaining Singapore's competitiveness as a hub for business and travel. With events returning to Singapore, such as the Singapore Rugby Sevens in April, the Singapore Grand Prix in October, and many other MICE events on the calendar, I hope the MTF will consider safe management measures that balance safety of participants, officials, and spectators, but also the viability, practicality, and experience of these events. At the AFF Suzuki Cup in December 2021, a maximum of 10,000 fans were allowed into the 55,000 capacity National Stadium. The SMMs did not allow for food and drinks to be consumed at the venue. This was a start nonetheless. Many of the international events require minimum spectator numbers, ticket sales to break even. Enabling food and drinks to be consumed at these venues is also part of the experience of watching a live event. It would be good if distinctive SMMs, as well as the administration of these SMMs, can be considered for such events organized at venues such as the Singapore Sports Hub. The sports industry has been hit hard since the start of the pandemic. Productivity has been low because of the nature of the industry. Things are picking up, things are getting better. One group I would like to focus on are the operators that service children who are unvaccinated. Because of the SMMs, they are unable to operate productively. These operators perform an important function, introducing physical skills to toddlers and tweens. They feed our development and competitive programs. If we do not help them, we will see the effects of our competitive sport pipeline in the future. The fitness industry has also been affected since the start of the pandemic. Gyms have seen a steady decline in the memberships, and although SMMs have eased, what would really move the needle for big box gyms will be to increase the maximum capacity of these facilities to over 50 if the minimum size requirements are met. Boutique gyms also are suffering, and reducing the physical distancing requirements between individuals from 2 meters to 1.5 meters will make a huge difference in terms of sustaining their businesses. I'm thankful for Minister Lawrence Wong's continued support for the sports and arts sectors. The Sports and Arts Resilient Grants have helped the sector with some relief, and I hope they will continue to be available for organizations that are still affected by the pandemic. On my third point, I would like the ministry to encourage the growth of sport in Singapore. Before I move on to this point, I would like to declare that I am the chairman of the SNOC Athletes Commission, a coach at the Singapore Disability Sports Council, and a director of the Global Esports Federation. 2021 has been a terrific year for Singapore sports. We were all inspired by the fantastic performances by our athletes in Tokyo and sang the Majula Singapura twice at the Tokyo Aquatic Center. As an Olympian, I am very thankful for the members of this House who supported a motion to recognize Team Singapore's performances at these Olympics and Paralympics. As Yip Ping Siu's coach, I am thankful that Ping Siu achievements were recognized, and she was awarded the President's Award for Inspiring Achievement by President Halima just 2 weeks ago. Singapore had several athletes become world champions last year. Aloysius Yap became Singapore's first #1 ranked pool billet player. In bowling, Shayna Ng won gold at the IBF Super World Championships. In esports, Singapore's Dota 2 women comprising Sheng Ying Hazel Ho, Hui Chun Melody Tay, Amanda Bings Lim, Joanne Minky Lim, and Paula Xiao Ma Teo clinched the gold medal in a close final against Team Great Britain at the Global Esports Games. To cap off a fantastic year, shuttler Loh Kian Yew did us all proud by winning the 2021 Badminton World Federation Championships title. These performances inspire us, ignite our competitive fire within us, and redefine our definition of what is possible. Mr. Speaker, Team Singapore takes the international stage multiple times this year at the Southeast Asian Games, ASEAN Para Games, Commonwealth Games, Asian Games, Asian Para Games. This, as well as the various world and regional championships and qualifiers our athletes compete in. I would like to ask for additional support for our Team Singapore athletes as they prepare to fly our flag high at these events. Behind every athlete is an entourage that comprise our sports scientists, coaches, and sports administrators. I would like to request for more resources to bolster up their capabilities and enable our athletes to achieve greater performances. As many of our Team Singapore athletes are also national servicemen, I would like to encourage greater collaboration between MINDEF and MCCY to enable our Team Singapore athletes to continue fulfilling their national service obligations and requirements whilst being able to train, compete, and bring glory to Singapore. National sports associations, like many of our charities, were not able to conduct events. This will no doubt affect the national team performances downstream. Essentially, many of our youth and development athletes have lost 2 years of physical literacy and competitive experience. I would like to suggest additional resources to be put into national sports associations for community participation and development programs. Hosting and organizing events are another vehicle for the sports industry to grow and develop. In December 2021, Singapore hosted the inaugural Global Esports Games. This event had a staggering 500 million accumulated views, a peak viewership of 4.4 million. With the support of Sports SG, Singapore Tourism Board, and the National Youth Council, and many others, the event was able to showcase Singapore as an esports and gaming hub and prove that Singapore had the capability to host such properties and do it well. In the GEG 21 showcased how gaming and entertainment in the metaverse could look like as we look towards the future. When I speak of the metaverse, I mean the seamless merging of our physical and digital worlds. For example, the opening ceremony with Singaporean artist Sugar Shay performing live on stage in a motion capture suit, being beamed into the metaverse as an avatar, was a sight to behold. We should anticipate more Singaporeans spending time in the metaverse and draft parameters to govern it, its users, potential hazards, and protections for citizens, for example. During GG21, we also saw local technology firm Refract showcase Active Esports, which it co-created with traditional sports body, World Taekwondo Federation. If you're wondering what esports is, it is using the entire body as a controller, competing in virtual reality. This breaks down physical limitations such as age, gender, and physical size. Why do I raise these points? Because I think they will go a long way towards enhancing and cultivating the uniqueness and strength of Singapore. I urge you to consider them with an open mind and imagination. I look forward to more conversations on these topics to best position Singapore to continue leading and innovating globally. Mr. Speaker, that concludes my 3 issues, and I wish to contribute to this session. I raise these issues because they will contribute to enhancing and cultivating the fabric of Singapore society. I believe the best is yet to be, and I am excited about the possibilities in these aspects, strengthening our Singapore core and identity. Thank you.